Hello, everyone. This is Fabio here. I'm part of Group 2. As JJ mentioned, we chose Japan as a culture to be discussed in this presentation. My topic, I decided to talk a little bit about the business culture in Japan and a few of the tips that I learned while I live in Japan. I was fortunate enough to live there a little over a year, reside in the city of Kyoto. Very famous area as far as culture and history and everything. Great experience, learn a lot. I actually resided with a very successful economist named Kazuo Mizuno. He actually attended school in New York City. Anyways, I just remember, just living in Japan a few years back, and he taught me a lot of things as far as business and how things are done in Japan. And I thought I'd just share with everyone as far as business culture. So here we go. First one, punctuality is everything in the Japanese business world. If you have a meeting scheduled for 10 o'clock, you better be there at 10 o'clock, looking sharp. Men usually tie in a suit. For women, very modest dressing. And usually, women are not taken very serious when it comes to business in the Japanese culture. So if you're a woman, you're representing your company, it's very important that you establish the leadership and the rank position. So you earn their respect right away. And again, be on time. It's very important. Also, they really appreciate it if you have a little bit of knowledge of their culture. So usually when you meet with someone like a corporate officer or a middle manager, Japanese people usually exchange cards, what they call meishi. Yeah, it's the word for business cards in Japan, and they usually will give it to you with both hands, and they'll bow and they'll give you their cards. Uh, and they will say "Yoroshiku onegai shimasu." The words meaning "nice to meet you" or "it's a pleasure to meet you," similar to that. And even before they introducing themselves, their ranks, what they do for the company, they usually exchange business cards, and they really appreciate it. Even if you're a Western person, to do the same thing, if you give their business cards, kind of bow. Excuse me, they really appreciate that. And the way they bow is very interesting. How low they go and how long they stand, it's based on your rank and your position. So if you're CEO, they usually will bow a lot lower and stay there for a little longer. Versus if you're just a middle manager, you'll be just kind of a faster bow. And one thing is, in Japan, we always negotiate with the middle manager. So don't try to skip the middleman and go to the owner or superiors managers, because you will kill the deal. And it's very very different here in the United States, because if you're a salesperson and you try to win a contract or to make a sale, you kind of learn how to avoid the gatekeepers, like the middle guy. You don't want to talk to the main corporate person or the manager guy. You want to talk to the owner, or you want to find out who is the decision maker in the company, so you don't waste your time. Very very different in Japan. The sales cycle is much longer. It can be very frustrating, but the good part, once you win a contract, you can actually retain that account, and they'll be very loyal to you unless if something major comes up. Versus here in the United States, it's kind of, the relationship is kind of driven by price most of the time. I mean, yeah, you can be loyal, but show me the money, and usually they'll shop every year trying to find a better deal, kind of something like that. And also, their sales team there is very different. Again, it's a group approach. Here in the US, you have the culture, top sales guy, competing with each other. I just want to, beat JJ this month, want to be the top sales guy. In Japan, very different, you win as a team or you fail as a team. There's no such thing as like, I'm doing awesome, you're not doing it, good for me, bad for you, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Nothing like that. It's definitely a group approach. Individualism, it's definitely out of the play in the Japanese culture and the business culture. So, um, and usually in Japan, the first meetings, as far as business, are for getting to know each other. Usually the first 10 minutes, very similar to the Western culture, just kind of icebreaker, just talk about regular stuff, family, and so one thing is like no jokes. They really don't appreciate like any jokes. Just get down to business, talk to them. usually get to know them. And it's funny because they might ask you out for to go out and drink with you, and kind of like, they drink a lot and it's still consider a business environment. It's not like one of those things like, oh, let's go for a drink, let's have a good time. No, you still engage in business activities, and they just really testing your ability to see how you behave yourself, and they expect you to partake, to enjoy, to drink, to have fun, but at the same time you still focus and talk about business. And one last thing that I think is very crucial in Japan, they do not like to deal with legal people. No lawyers. They only take you to court or take a like civil action if it's extremely necessary. So a lot of times big companies here in Japan, when they go over there to try to close a deal, they'll bring their lawyers and their legal people. They hate that. That's a huge turn off. They're usually gonna talk to each other and it's like, yeah, we're gonna get back to you, and the deal is off. So don't bring legal people and stuff to the business table. They like everything clean and simple. Usually their contract forms only have about a page, sometimes two the most. Very different here in the US, where you buy anything, you buy like a $50 product, it comes with like a 50-page policy, return, legal actions, liability, and blah blah blah. And they are very simple. Just get to the point and then review. Very simple. And again, if you plan on doing business in Japan in the future, actually, the first time, if you don't speak the language, if you go to a meeting, you're talking to a Japanese company or negotiating anything, it's very common to accept their intern company translator. Every company usually has one. It's just basically an English-speaking person that would translate for the first business meetings. But as I say, as I mentioned, the sales cycle takes a lot longer in Japan. So it's okay to use their company guy at the first time, but they expect you to kind of bring your own translator if the negotiations going longer than a couple meetings. So those are one of those things that I really learned that I think it's very crucial in the Japanese business culture world. Punctuality, friendly, get to the point, very simple. And last one, just to kind of recap, is the team approach versus the individual approach. I know JJ just mentioned in his video a little bit about the individualism versus collectivism and the differences of both. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Just trying to keep short and sweet here so everybody have their chance to talk a little about their subject. Again, I had a blessed living in Japan. Really enjoyed and made great friends, great people, great place to visit. Hopefully, you have a chance to go to Japan someday. It's been a pleasure working with everyone this semester. Thank you for all the hard work you guys put into this class, and thank our professors, our classmates, and everyone. And I just hope that you guys have a great summer, and wish you the very best in the future. Take care. Thanks. Bye bye.